watching News 12 late this...
News 12, Rich here. May I help you?
Hi, did Valerie just pass me over to you?
I don't know. What is this in reference to?
Oh, I was just inquiring as to who, like the producer behind a story about Peekskill in the news yesterday. Were you the person that was producing this or reporting there or something? Maybe that's why she passed me on to you?
Oh, I wasn't the reporter. I was the producer.
You were. What's your name, Richard?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Raina Fortini. What's your last name?
D-M-I-J-E-W-S-K-I.
Hi. I was just curious as to what compelled you to do that story, I guess. I'm just curious.
Was this you're referring to the protest?
Yeah. It was like half a dozen people with signs and made up stories walking around in a circle. And
Made up stories.
well, I was someone that they referred to on your newscast. And yeah, like as in scientifically provable made up facts, and I was a part of something they were saying. I was I don't know if I can say this in 30 seconds, but they were referring to white people speaking for 9 to 10 minutes. And at our last community council meeting, they went on, for their entire 5 minutes allotted, talking about how I spoke about a puppy for almost 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 41 seconds. And she said that at least 5 times while talking about how Mr. Davis was only speaking for 5 minutes. And he, interestingly enough, spoke for 5 minutes to the second, when normally he speaks for well into 7 minutes plus, to the point where he's screaming and cursing, saying vulgar things, interrupting others while they're speaking, while the police drag him away. Actually, no, the police don't even drag him away. They just, really kind of pull the microphone away from him because he just won't stop. And anyone can see that for themselves on the city video, the website with the city video link. And so...
Did you say your first name is?
Raina.
All right. You are not nobody's mentioned by name.
Right, but this woman, Daryl Davis says, makes a very clear reference to something that a woman named Elizabeth Rubit. Oh, I'm not looking to say I'm going to sue you or anything. I'm saying your information is so bad, or your checking your information is so off because, I was speaking about something really upsetting, and Davis afterwards was, mimicking me and making fun of me, and he calls me Snow White, and he's just a horrible person. And I just recently started engaging with him a couple months ago when I went all the way down. I've lived here for 12 years, and I watched these people on TV, and I never wanted to get involved with that, but I couldn't resist going down there and just pointing out that he'd himself made this, racist remark about no one in Bowman Towers, the children, being interested in doing yoga. And I just wanted to, kind of catch him at that. And in the halls of our higher learning institutions, you would engage in intellectual discourse. And I imagine the man capable of saying, you got me there. That was wrong. And how you doing? Oh, my name is this. Nice to meet you. And people talk. But no, this man twists that silly little detail into weeks of accusing the mayor of pretending there's going to be yoga, and he calls me Miss Yoga. It's like kindergarten. It's like watching nursery school. And I think the rest of the community doesn't even want to come, be a part of it very often because it's silly. And it's frustrating. I was talking about being abused by police, and I said things I wish I didn't say because you can't say everything in 5 minutes, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that out loud. And they cut me off there. And, and it's nerve-wracking and everything. And while you're trying to, I had property stolen from me is why I was speaking, and I have these idiots yelling from the audience, and I spoke, by the way, for just about 6 minutes, a little over 6 minutes, I want to say 20 seconds. And that's only because George Oros was one of them, and Daryl's Davis's gang were yelling, really, I don't want to say disparaging, but like just, I don't even know what they're saying, but it's distracting. And it's a second grade class, elementary school class. And so the point is they graciously gave me an extra minute, I guess, to say what I had to say. And, and nobody cares about my little situation with a dog that was illegally confiscated from me. But I'm talking about the Fourth Amendment, for God's sakes. I'm talking about having been abused in the past by police. And this is why they are always assaulting vulnerable people in one way or another. And these people are making fun of me. Afterwards, I walked over to, as I was leaving, to the woman that made the 9 to 10 minute comment that Daryl repeated on your newscast last night. And she was like, "Don't even talk to me." And Davis yells out, "Hey, police, she's harassing us. Come get her." And I had barely spoken a word. I had said a couple of sentences like, "What?" Like, he's like, "Get out of here, just get out of here, And I was like, this is a public place. Why would you talk to me that way? They're so uncivilized. They're monstrous. I don't know what their agenda is, but it's, like, ridiculous. And, frankly,
Like I said, you were not mentioned by name or details of whatever meeting.
You misunderstand. I'm not calling about me. I'm calling about you. Why would you give these people the time of day? Like, are you friends with him or something?
No, it was a protest on a public street, and we had Daryl giving his side, and we had the mayor giving her side.
But who cares? Like, what? Like, with everything going on in the world, why was that story interesting to you? There's like 6 people who are, whether they're boring you to tears or making up blatant lies. I mean, they're lies. They're outrageous lies. And I think they've got nothing else to organize around, and they're from old school, think they're Martin Luther King, and they're so not. They're lies. I mean, it's one thing if people are organizing poorly and, they're having trouble, but these people are organizing based on fabrications. So it worries me when the news would even give them the time of day, and I'm just curious as to, how these things work. I mean, I've always had an interest in how fairness in news reporting. No, fairness in news, reporting. And
how is this not fair? We had both sides.
We have a world on the verge of we have things going on that are like so important, and yet you give airtime to someone who is lying to you.
Speak to our news director or assistant news director. I could give you their names.
Well, no,
it decided yesterday to cover this because it was going to be a public protest.
So they decided the day before? Almost like you were invited.
Well, somehow we were given notice. I mean, groups send us press releases or emails if they're having events. Sometimes it's days in advance, sometimes it's the day of. I'm not sure when we got notice of it.
So Richard, you were sent there. You were assigned.
I was not sent there. Our crew went there, a reporter and one of our videographers.
So what made you decide that this was newsworthy? That's what I'm curious about.
I am only one of several people here who decides what's newsworthy.
Okay.
I said, if you'd like to speak with our news director or assistant news director, I could give you their names.
Well, who would have the final say in choosing this news story as something credible and worthwhile?
If you'd like to, our assistant news director is Stan Kowalski. Kowalski.
Mm-hmm. And he's the one that decided to go with this story?
If you'd like to speak with him, I could give you his email.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, one moment. Okay, Stan's email is